Have you ever been in an interaction with a woman where the conversation fizzled out within the first 1 to 2 minutes and you walked away with nothing more than a nice to meet you? If that's you, this video is gonna change your life, because of what I'm gonna show you right now is how I took a client of mine who was barely having 30 to 60-second interactions, and in today's video, I'm gonna break down an audio interaction of his showing you exactly how he went from being that guy to actually running a 10+ minute interaction that led to a date. And so what I'm gonna do is play that audio and show you line by line exactly what he did, as well as the mistakes. But I also want to give you guys specific lines and phrases to inject into the interaction. So if you're somebody who's running out of things to say, you could just copy and paste this structure and start landing dates in your own life. So without further ado, let's get into the beginning of this interaction.
I actually wanted to come over. I was just headed out of the boardwalk, but I actually thought you looked really cute. I wanted to come say hi to you.
And that is the open. He just went in and he displayed a little bit of intent. He said, I was actually headed out. I was gonna leave the boardwalk, but I saw you and I thought you looked cute. I wanted to come say hi really quick. So a lot of good things in there. A couple small things that are worth noting as well is I don't think that he had that flirty of a delivery. I'll play back the audio really quick.
I actually wanted to come over. I was just headed out of the boardwalk, but I actually thought you looked really cute. I wanted to come say hi to you.
Most men make the mistake on the open because they're nervous, they're in their head, and so they don't really say the intentful line in a flirtatious manner. They just kind of say it as a statement. The same way that they're saying like, okay, I'll see you later. They're like, hey, I thought you looked cute. I wanted to say hi. There's no flirtatious energy there. And so this is the next thing I've been working with him now that we kind of have this structure internalized. But my one critique to him during this point was the way that you display your intent is very emotionless. And keep in mind that when you are flirting or displaying intent with a woman, you want to be able to smile. There needs to be a little bit of charm in that delivery. So that was the one tweak, but nevertheless, he opened, which is important. The next thing worth noting is the girl doesn't really give that big of a response.
I wanted to come say hi to you.
So in this case, the woman literally just says, hi. Like that's all she says. And this is where a lot of men kind of mess up the interaction. The girl either just says thank you or she just says hi, and now it's instantly back on you. And so you get in your head and your face kind of freaks out a little bit. Like you give off micro expressions of freaking out, you start panicking, and that's where you just go into default question answer interview mode. And I'm gonna show you guys exact lines and phrases that I want you to say in this interaction, and you'll see how Milton does it as well. So you don't freak out, you don't go into question answer mode, stay calm, and then just keep the conversation going. I recommend just elaborating on what you notice about the girl or make some sort of observation about the girl.
You have like a Latina look.
Oh, I am, yeah.
You are? I could tell. You look kind of like Mexican.
Oh no, I'm not Mexican.
You're not?
No.
Like Central American?
No, I'm Peruvian.
Oh, Peruvian? Oh, that makes sense.
And some of you guys might hear this audio right now and you think that this is awkward, and I gotta be fully transparent. This is not the smoothest thing. It's good enough though. It doesn't need to be a mind-blowing next couple of sentences after you open, which is where most men go wrong. It's right in this little opening phase is that the girl just says hi or she just says thank you. You then make an observation about her and you guess wrong. You even hear the girls kind of chuckling a little bit.
You look kind of like Mexican.
Oh no, I'm not Mexican.
And that's where most men fail. They're not cool, they're not relaxed, they're not confident. They're getting short answers from the woman, and so they end up just ejecting right here and it doesn't even get off the ground. And I'm here to tell you that this interaction that we're playing right now, despite it sounding awkward or weird, ends up going all the way to a date. Like he actually got onto this coaching call with me with a date already confirmed for the weekend, and this interaction went like 10+ minutes long. So this is okay, this is normal. It doesn't need to be a perfect, flawless interaction to get started. It's actually going really well. And like I said, like a couple weeks before this, he was brand new to the program. I mean, this is really good progress in a matter of weeks to not even be approaching to actually landing dates, running a full interaction. Like that's awesome so far. So as I'm saying this, guys, if you're not even approaching or if you're not getting success in your dating life and you want to work with me, exactly like how Milton did, you could click the link down below, check out the in-depth training that's there. I go over my backstory, my clients, and more details about my coaching program. You can apply to work with me directly if you want these type of results in your own day-to-day life. Now let me show you how he gets the girl to start responding a little bit more enthusiastically, and then we'll get into what actually goes on in the middle of this interaction to keep this thing going.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm actually Mexican
Oh, really?
and half Italian too.
Oh, that's dope, that's dope. What part of Mexico are you from?
From the south part, Oaxaca. I'm going there this summer actually.
Oh, really? That's dope. That's really cool.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward more to Cancun though.
Oh, that's dope.
So the biggest thing that he did for this first 45 seconds or so of the interaction is he kept talking. He made an assumption about the girl, he elaborated on it, he guessed wrong, it wasn't a big deal, he didn't eject out of the interaction despite him probably having a feeling of wanting to eject out because he's nervous. He stayed in there, and then he started to talk a little bit about himself. So he guessed her ethnicity, he guessed wrong, he tried again, it was still wrong. He stayed calm. Eventually, she told him what her ethnicity was, and then he started talking about his own ethnicity and the fact that he's about to be going to Cancun in the near future. And so we're about 45 seconds into this thing, but also pay attention. As he's staying calm and keeping the conversation going, the girl is starting to become a little bit more enthusiastic. She went from just saying one-word answers to she's now saying,
Oh, really? That's dope. That's really cool.
so she's engaging a little bit more. She's starting to get warmed up. Now, as we get into about 1 minute, she is by no means ready to go on a date. She's just starting to get comfortable. And so that's why it's really important right in this section here that we sit in the fire. Sitting in the fire means staying in that uncomfortable period of time in the first couple of minutes where if you're new to this, you probably run out of things to say. You have every urge in your body to eject out of the interaction, but you need to get comfortable and gain experience sitting in the fire. And so I want to go over a couple different topics that we could talk about and specific phrases you could say in your interactions to extend your conversations now. One thing I do want to point out is that I don't think he sounds that enthusiastic.
You look kind of like Mexican.
Oh, no. I'm not Mexican.
You're not?
No.
Like Central American?
No, I'm Peruvian.
Oh, Peruvian? Oh, that makes sense.
He's a little stale with his vibe and delivery. It's something we've been working on. It's getting better. Like it's good enough. But I just think like when he's guessing wrong, if he just laughs a little bit, it would kind of smoothen this thing out. If you're very stale and stiff and kind of monotone through this part, it makes it a little bit more awkward. So if he just guessed and he was wrong and he laughed about it, I think it would have just added a little bit more fun and life to this interaction so far. And so now if we were to look at the topics that have been discussed so far and what we could use, up until almost about a minute into the interaction, it's really just been about her ethnicity, where she's from, where he's from. He transitioned into saying, I'm actually looking forward to going to Cancun. So they've really just been talking about ethnicity this whole time. Now, some other topics that he could be transitioning into, number one is location or environment. So that could be something like the environment right now, meaning like, what is she up to right now? What is she actually doing? Or where is she from? Does she live here? Are you from this area? Like oftentimes just talking about the actual location is the next easiest topic. It's really nothing crazy, but it's an easy topic to talk about. Like oftentimes when I go up to women in Miami, I can very easily tell if they're from here or if they're not from here. And I just make an observation or an assumption about that thing. And that allows me to then segue into my backstory about how I actually moved here from New Jersey about a year ago, because that's when my business was expanding and it was wintertime and I was just freezing my ass off at the dog park in the winter for no reason. And that's when I had this realization, like, yo, I gotta move to Miami. And so that's when I decided to relocate to Brickell. And so that's an easy topic that I noticed even within myself that I like to bring up in the first 1 to 2 minutes. It's a very lighthearted topic. It's a good way to keep the conversation going. It doesn't put too much pressure on the girl. So if you have like a cool or fun or interesting story about where you grew up or where you live now, or maybe you're vacationing in this location or you have a plan to go vacation or anything around those topics, I think location and environment is very, very easy. And this could really just segue into travel as a whole. Like Milton just brought up that he's more excited about going to Cancun, but he could also be like, have you ever been there? Or do you have other plans to travel? Or what's the craziest place you traveled to in the last year or so? Very easy topics to talk about. The second conversational topic that you could also use is just fun or plans. And that could be something as simple as, what are you up to? Do you have anything fun planned for the weekend? Or if it's like Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, it could be like, did you do anything fun over the weekend? Right? So just talking about activities that the girl likes to do for fun, or what she has planned, or what she just did over the weekend. Really easy topic, because most people will talk about the things they did, and the things they do they're interested in. So super easy topic. And then also conversation topic number 3 is anything that is relevant. So I just mark this as like relevancy. So this could be like, in this particular audio, it was actually the 4th of July weekend. So you could just bring up 4th of July, barbecuing, going down the shore, traveling, you know, maybe the family's coming to visit. That would be very relevant. Or also anything else that's relevant could be something you notice about the woman in that moment. She could have a unique item that she's holding. I mean, she could be holding a Gatorade Zero, so she's really calorie conscious. She could be having a coffee. She's a coffee lover. She could be dressed up sporty. She's coming back from the gym. She's on her work break currently, and she has her uniform. She's going to a dance class. It really could be anything, and that's why I just said anything that's relevant. She may even give you some piece of information in one of these topics that you could just be talking about. Like she could have briefly mentioned that she's a vegan in the middle of the conversation. That could be a relevant topic. So I just like to have a couple default questions and topics and stories that could be around location. Like, where do you live? Where are you from? What's your ethnicity? What do you do for fun? What do you have planned? Where have you traveled? Any of those topics are probably the easiest ones and very lighthearted to talk about in minute 1, minute 2. And my advice would be, if you're someone who's rather new to this, is to just pick 1 or 2 of these questions or topics and have 1 or 2 flavorful answers and start practicing those in your conversations. Get comfortable going into interaction, asking this question, having a little bit of a fun story that you could respond with to keep that first 2 minutes going smoothly. Now, if we just stop the video right here, you're not gonna actually land dates. You're gonna get very flaky numbers because you're missing everything I'm gonna say in the second half of this video. But I just wanna say, like, you could take this and run with it and get to a place where you're consistently having 2 to 3 minute conversations. Yes, you will get flaky numbers, but if that's the level that you're at, you need to get experience being able to hold conversation and just kind of effortlessly run through these conversation topics. That is good, engaging small talk. And you should really be able to do that with pretty much anybody. Again, if you are not doing this and you're really struggling and you want to make a change faster, I would love to help you with that process, guys. The link is down below if you want to apply to work with me. It's summertime. There's a bunch of people out. It is prime time to level up this area of your life. Stop just watching videos alone. If you want coaching and you want to transform your life, I'm the man for the job. All right, let's get into what also needs to be done if you want to take 2 to 3 minute small talk into actually landing a date. The next thing I put down here is that I told Milton, hey man, this is great for the first 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, but if we're not teasing at some point, this is just gonna become stale, boring, small talk that doesn't go anywhere. It's great that he opened, it's great that there's some intent. He wasn't asking so many questions, he carried the convo. He's really made the conversation about the woman so far. The majority of it has really been about her and him talking a little bit about himself. And that's great. We want to keep going with these topics, but at some point in here, I need to tease. Otherwise, it's just gonna stay in boring small talk.
You like to party?
Yeah, not necessarily out here. I definitely go for a more New York ambiance.
Oh, New York?
Yeah, I'm more
Really?
into raves, not like just...
Oh no, you're into raves? You didn't really strike me as like a party girl.
No, yeah,
No.
Not really a bar, club type of person, but rave
raves.
ambiance. Very dope, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I thought-
oh nah, it's crazy.
I thought you were more like a beach girl, like just the way that you were sitting in the sun.
Okay, so since he mentioned Cancun, he then said, what about you? Do you like to party? Again, keeping it about the girl and just kind of talking about fun, plans. I guess you could even say it's a little bit of travel because he's talking about Cancun. And he then makes an assumption. Do you like to party? The woman comes back and says, No, I'm actually more into the music scene. I like the New York vibe, I like the rave scene, which is good. And I do think most men would make the mistake here of just going into the next question, and then the girl gives another answer, and then you ask another question, and then the girl gives another answer. What I like that he does here is he just sprinkles in a little bit of teasing. He just kind of like gives her an emotional spike. He's like, oh shit, like you are a party girl then. And I actually like that he laughs a little bit here too. So this is the first time in the interaction I'm noticing he's having fun in the conversation. Like I've heard a bunch of his audio recordings before this one, and in the previous weeks, he was very stale with his emotions and his communication. This is the first time I literally paused. I was like, dude, you're actually having fun in the interaction for once. Like this is awesome, like good for you. And it's not a surprise that the girl starts reciprocating now, but it's because he's using these templates. He's getting into these topics, he's making assumptions, and he's finding a way to actually tease the woman. And so what he says is, oh, so you're like that? Interesting, because I actually thought you were like this. That's how he made the assumption. Like he said, oh, you're into that? I thought you were like this like beach girl. I see you just kind of sitting out here enjoying the sun. I thought you were more like beach girl vibe.
I thought you were more like a beach girl, like just the way that you were sitting in the sun. I didn't think...
No, definitely. In the summer, yeah. It's great to come out here, just at the waves, like the beach, everything about it, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm actually here I was here for work actually.
Something to point out, listen to how much more the girl is now reciprocating in the interaction. She just gave a nice lengthy 10-second response to his question.
No, definitely. In the summer, yeah. It's great to come out here, just at the waves, like the beach, everything about it, yeah.
On the front end, it was just her giving one-word answers. He went from a one-word answer, staying calm, keeping the conversation going, elaborating what he saw about her, asked another question, talked a little bit about himself. Then he was talking about his plan to travel, how he wants to go to Cancun. He made an assumption about her. We're probably like right around this point now. She came back with what her interests are. And now he's talking a little bit more about what he does for work. So that's actually another interesting point that I didn't actually write on the board, is that after you get past that 2 to 3 minute mark, you can start to get into a little bit more personal information about each other. Like if we've talked for 2 or 3 minutes, we're no longer complete strangers, and it actually makes sense to talk about what you do for work, or you could ask her what she does for work. You're not gonna say that in the first minute. I'm not gonna be like, hey, what's up, though? You look cute. Like, hey, what do you do for work? It's a little early for that. So I do like how he's transitioning into this point. And by the way, guys, you should have an interesting way to talk about what you do for work. Do not just say, I'm in IT. Like, have a little bit of an interesting story around what you do and find a way to sprinkle that in. Like Milton is actually a real estate agent. So instead of him just saying, I do real estate, he has a cool way of explaining that he travels for work and he has the luxury of being in New York one day and then the next day he's actually down the shore in New Jersey. And so he gets to connect with different people and new environments all the time. And he really likes that aspect of his job. So that's a nice little flavorful way to spice up your answers in the conversation. And that also gets the girl to respond and ask more questions about the whole thing. So I cannot stress the importance of having flavorful answers to a lot of these topics we're talking about.
Yeah, what are you guys up to?
We just decided to come out to the beach. We're like, I was bored at home. It's a really nice day. There's no reason to be inside.
Exactly. That's true. But, so what was your name, by the way?
My name is Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Tell me about your sister. What else do I need to know about her?
And this is really the structure that you want to run for at least the first 5 minutes, guys. Like, you want to get to a point where you could talk about any one of these topics, or you could just be telling stories and asking questions and having flavorful small talk for 5+ minutes. Don't make the mistake of getting a minute in or 2 minutes in and then just going for the close. The whole point of this is to sit in the fire and build the skill set up of getting to know each other. And then the last piece to this whole thing is closing. I don't recommend doing this earlier than 5 minutes, otherwise you're really just walking away with a flaky number. But somewhere between 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, after we've already got to know each other, there was a name exchange, you talked about these different topics, as well as maybe what you do for work or what plans you have. you wanna find an activity that you guys both like to do. And then at some point, you just suggestively recommend that you guys could go do that thing at some point. So in this particular interaction, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit through the audio. We're now at about 8 minutes into the interaction. Somewhere between 5 to 8 minutes, they started talking about this idea of coffee. And the woman says that she's a really avid coffee drinker. Like, she loves coffee.
Yeah, but you seem really cool. Maybe we should grab a coffee.
I'm a very big coffee drinker, yeah. I would take your social media, but I'm off of social media at the moment.
Okay.
So you can take my number.
And so what Milton did was he just said, yeah, we should totally grab a coffee at some point. And she said, yeah, I'm down for sure, take my number. And that's how he actually went through this process. And I think personally that could happen as early as like 4 to 5 minutes, which is kind of short. In this particular instance, it happened more around 8 minutes. If I look at a lot of my interactions, it happens anywhere between 5 to 10 to 15 plus minutes. So it kind of depends on the interaction, but this is really good progress for somebody like Milton, who only a couple of weeks earlier in the program, he was barely even getting to 1 minute. Okay, and it's because he made these adjustments. He sat in the fire, he kept the conversation going, he injected different phrases, different teases, different flirty lines throughout this whole thing, and then he actually walked away with a number, and it's actually confirmed that he went on that date. This is a client who actually landed a date from cold approach in a couple of weeks inside of the program, who previously was not approaching at all. So if you wanna make this type of transformation in your own life, if you wanna go from where you're at right now to actually landing dates from interacting with women in a matter of weeks, I can help you with that. All right, the link is down below. Click that link, check out the in-depth training where I go over more about my backstory, the clients, as well as more details of my coaching program, and you can apply to work with me directly on that link. Click that link down below right now. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.